Gamer here, and finally the version 4.2 program has just released. So, well, you know how these videos go. Without any further ado, let's just go over the new content of the game. So, let's just pull up the event tab so that it becomes silent. There we go. And now, let's just go over the program. So, let's just transition here. Right there. So yeah, this is the newest special program right here, which is pretty nice. It basically gives off the story of Fontaine and all these other stuff too. Yeah, ignore the Kirby thing because I was listening to the Kirby soundtrack. It's pretty nice. If you haven't played the newest Kirby game, which is I think is Dreamland Deluxe, play it. It's actually a pretty good game. But yeah. So this is the newest version of Genshin, Masquerade of the Guilty. So this is probably going to showcase the final climax of Fontaine. So yeah, can't wait to play the story, figure out what happens, see if the prophecy is true. It looks like by the image of the version, it looks like it will be true since Fontaine will be flooded, and Furina might be alone on her throne, but who knows, maybe the prophecy may not be true, and the Traveler stops it. So yeah, anyways, it's time to talk about, well, the newest content of this version. So yeah, so first off, we have the new Archon quest. Of course, Archon quests just give off main story stuff, so yeah, more main story means that more stuff to talk about on discussions and all the other stuff about lore. So yeah, your typical Archon quest for your version. So yeah. Next up, now we can actually talk about the characters. Of course, I will have to put the disclaimer here. I use my info on Special Program and Honey Impact, so check those out if you don't know what those are. So yeah. So let's talk about Furina and Charlotte, which is right here. If I can find her. Yeah, Charlotte, as you can see there. So yeah, Furina and Charlotte. Let's talk about them. So Furina is a Hydro sword. Yeah, a sword. I'm surprised too. She is a sword character. But it looks like her gameplay is actually pretty good. She is a Hydro sub DPS and support, and I'm pretty sure she's probably the best at it. Of course, there's Xingqiu and Yelan, but I don't think they'll be as hard-hitting and as supportive as Furina, because Furina has a lot of different things going for her, and I will rapid-fire these so that we could go over to Honey Impact, but I will just give you the brief rundown while we're here. So, normal attacks. By default, she has Uxia reactions. Yes, she has Uxia reactions. If you use her charge attack when you're on her elemental skill, right here, you basically get Numa reaction. So you can switch from Uxia to Numa as long as her elemental skill is up on the field, which is pretty nice. And speaking of her elemental skill summons 3 of the Hydro creatures, as you see here in this image, which basically deals Hydro damage to opponents. Yeah, pretty nice. And also, if you use her charge attack to switch to the Numa reaction, she basically summons this thing that heals your party members, which is pretty nice. Yeah, you see what I mean by she is a sub DPS and a support? She is both. But by the more time we go into this video, you'll see that she also can become a DPS. So yeah, but no spoilers. We'll just go on forward. So her elemental burst, well, as you can see, Nuvolet's right here, but her elemental burst increases the amount of damage and healing their party members will get, based off of Furina's fanfare. And Furina's fanfare basically happens as soon as you use her elemental burst. So yeah, and to get fanfare, you just increase or decrease HP of nearby party members. So yeah, all party members basically. There's also constellations out there too that basically help her with this. So yeah, I think her burst and her elemental skill is her bread and butter. So yeah, you want to at least get some energy recharge so that Furina can get her burst faster. I'm pretty sure 150 might be enough, but if it's not enough, then 170 might seal the deal on Furina. So yeah. Next up, let's talk about this. So yeah, this is her passive talent on her overworld. So this is just the exploration passive. So on those rainbow-like creatures that you use their elemental skills, Furina gets decreased cooldown so that you could spam it. Yeah, pretty nice. And also, there's a hidden mechanic on her elemental skill. Right here. Yeah, she uses her elemental skill. She walks on water. She walks on water. This means that Kokomi is not the only person who can walk on water. It's Focalor herself. Yes, Focalor can walk on water. Yep. That's basically it. And of course, for every new 5-star, there's always a new story quest. So, Furina right here has her new story quest. Pretty nice. Pretty basic. Next up, we have Charlotte, who is a 4-star Cryo Catalyst. Charlotte is pretty basic. I mean, yeah, that's basically it. There's nothing more to be said. She is a Cryo sub DPS, or that is what her kit alludes to. So, of course, she does basic normal attacks, as you can see there. Her elemental skill is Nahita's elemental skill, as you can see there, which basically tags the opponent. I'm pretty sure there's a frame where she uses her elemental skill. Yeah, there she is. So if you hold it down, you basically can tag multiple enemies, and that basically deals cryo damage over time, the sigils that you put on the enemies. So yeah, it looks like she's a pretty good cryo sub DPS, honestly. And her burst is literally the same thing too. Makes an AoE burst, which heals and does cryo damage. Yep. Yeah, Charlotte's pretty basic. And also, her overworld passive talent, if you have the zooming lens, which you could get from an event, by the way, you can take pictures. Pretty cool. You can take pictures with her during battle. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, this is a really, really good overworld talent if you want to take pictures. So, yeah, for those photo enthusiasts out there who really love to take their pictures in Genshin, she is there for you. So yeah, that is basically Charlotte. Yeah, pretty basic. And now it's time to actually go over the event wishes. So first off, we have Phase 1. I will say this now so that I don't have to say it again and I don't have to get flack for it. If you love the characters, pull for them. I always say this every single time. Love triumphs all. So if you love the character, pull for them. If you love their character, if you love their kit, if you love their personality, if you love their story, if you love, well, just the way they look, summon for them. Your happiness is obviously prioritized over your sadness and meta. So yeah, pull for what makes you happy. As for me, I'm pulling for Furina. I've been waiting for so long to get Furina. It is my ultimate joy to finally get to play as her. So yeah. Besides that, let's just get back on topic. So Charlotte is going to be the 4-star featured on this event preview, which is Phase 1. So yeah, while you pull for Furina, I don't know why I talked that fast, you can pull for Charlotte. So yeah, you could get some copies of Charlotte while also getting some copies of Furina. Pretty nice. So yeah, and now it's actually time to go over the characters on these event wishes. So, Furina! Do I need to say anything more? She's good. Pull. That's all I need to say. Pull. Pull for Furina. Next up is Baishu. He is a pretty good Dendro support, still used to this day in Spiral Abyss, because he is the only Dendro support that heals, which does a good job. I mean, there's Yao Yao, but Baishu heals better, and also is a rapid fire healer. So yeah, Baishu, he is a Dendro applicator, as well as a healer and a shielder. So yeah, Baishu fits really well in Dendro teams. You know how good Dendro teams are. Yeah, there's really nothing more to be said. Baiju. It's just Baiju. Of course, we'll talk about the new weapon later, but we gotta talk about Phase 2. So Phase 2. Cyno and Ayato. For Cyno, he's still pretty good, but Furina exists, or not Furina, Raiden exists. So if you want to pull for a good Electro DPS, hold off until Raiden releases. And as for Ayato, poor Ayato. So back then, Ayato was considered the best Hydro DPS in the entire game. His only contender is Tartaglia, aka Child. Now it's not. Those two are now put to shame thanks to New Valette. Yeah, New Valette is now the new hot DPS, and he's also the best DPS in the game. Yeah. If you want to get a really good Hydro DPS, hold off on Ayato and save for New Valette. Yeah. All of these are pretty bad in comparison to Furina and Baiju. Since you could replace Cyno and Ayato with meta characters instead. But, well, it's time to go over the brief summary now, on these. So, Furina, pull. Baiju, pull if you want a Dendro healer, and if you also want, a Dendro applicator. Skip and skip. Yeah. That is the summarization of the event wishes. Pull if you have some left over. Skip. Yeah. That's basically it. And here is the new weapon featured here, which is the Splendor of Tranquil Waters, which is a 5-star sword, and it's pretty broken. You'll see why in a moment as soon as I transition to Honey Impact. But yeah. Well, anyways, now it's Honey Impact time, so let's just transition. So yeah. Let's just transition right here. There we go. Okay. So, Charlotte, Furina, these swords, and the Splendor of Tranquil Waters. Yeah. This basically is our newest version. Yeah, this is the new content that is going to be featured in this version. I already have all the tabs pulled up, so let's just go over all the characters. So yeah. First up, Furina, the Hydro Archon, aka Fussalor. So, she is Hydro Sword. Her level up stat is crit rate. This means that you can level up crit damage. Yeah. So, you can just get at least, I think, around 20? No. Yeah, no. Around 25% crit rate on subs. And I think you should be fine. Yeah. Because her weapon is crit damage. And spoiler alert, it's a lot. So yeah. You want to invest everything on crit damage as soon as you get that 50% crit rate. Of course, 40% works fine too. It's what I use. I mean, 40% is kind of consistent. But 50% is basically the sweet spot for every character. 50% crit rate. But, yeah. You could just get around 25% crit rate, and you could basically become good. So, yeah. So, this is her normal attacks. It's pretty basic. It's just 4 consecutive strikes. I already went over her elemental skill, but I will summarize it anyway again. So her elemental skill is based off of max HP. Yes, this is not something that I mentioned before, but everything on her kit is based off max HP. So if you want to build the ideal Furina, you need to build HP crit. Yes, HP crit. Any other things you could do is HP Hydro crit. If you want Furina to do slightly more damage, but since Furina is a support and a healer, HP crit. That is all she needs. Because all her stuff is based off of max HP. The damage of her Salon members, the amount she heals party members, they're all based on max HP. Also, her elemental skill has a hidden other passive buff. So when there are characters more than 50% HP nearby, you basically deal more damage. Yeah, that's basically it. All they have to do is get their HP consumed. And that's pretty much it. As long as they're above 50% HP and they get their HP consumed, they will get the passive damage buffs, which is nice. It means that you could get a lot of damage. And since this activates a lot, you'll get the 140 every time. Unless you run a character who needs to be on low HP, like Risley and Hu Tao. So yeah, not really that good on Hu Tao and Risley, but you still get 130, which is still pretty high. So yeah, don't sleep on it. You could still run Hu Tao on a vaporized team with Furina. You could still run new Risley in a freeze team. Yeah, it's pretty much good. Yeah, and again, it changes per stance. So Usia is pretty good. It's just sub, and then Numa is max HP heal, which is pretty nice. Pretty good. And here is Let the People Rejoice. Let the People Rejoice looks pretty good too. I did say this before, but she basically gets damage increase and healing bonus based off fanfare points, and based off her max HP as well. So the more max HP she has, the more hydro damage she does, and also the more fanfare she has, the more damage and healing bonus all nearby party members get. So yeah, she gets fanfare for every time your HP decreases and increases. So yeah, fanfare points are pretty easy to get. You get a max of 300 anyway, of fanfare points. So yeah, this is pretty good. 300 fanfare points, that means that you will get a lot of mileage off of this. And also it gets boosted by constellations, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah. This looks like a pretty basic burst. I mean, damage increase, hydro damage increase, healing. I mean, pretty basic, right? Yeah. Anyways, it's time to talk about her passive talents. So yeah, let's talk about those. So her passive talent, it basically decreases the cooldown of, again, as I said before, these creatures that basically give you your elemental skill. So yeah, underwater combat is pretty easy now. Also, speaking of cooldown, I forgot to talk about her elemental skill cooldown. 20 seconds. And her duration is 30 seconds. That's pretty high. This means that you can basically get this permanently. Yeah, she's a permanent sub DPS, by the way. So yeah, that's why I said that she's better, or she might be better than Xingqiu and Yelan. But we have to play test to find out. So yeah. Her other passive talents. Let's talk about those. So Endless Waltz is basically, when you heal, you basically get 2% of her max HP for 2 seconds. So basically, when a character heals, and it's not Furina who heals, Furina will heal that character. So you get double heal. Pretty nice. Also, we have Unheard Confession. Every time, every 1,000 points on Furina's max HP, basically buffs a Salin Solitaire in the following ways. It increases the damage based off of max HP up to 28%, and also will heal, will decrease the healing interval, meaning that you heal more. So yeah, remember when I said that she scales off of max HP and that's her main gameplay? Yeah, HP crit. I will keep saying it over and over again. HP crit. And her constellations, they're pretty good. They're really good. Actually, they're really good. Her C1 basically gives her more fanfare, and she gets 150 off the to start with, meaning that you get a lot of buffs right off the bat, which is pretty nice. Her C2 accelerates her burst. This means that you can basically accelerate your damage buffs, because the rate that when you increase or decreases a character's HP gets increased by 200%. This means that you will get a lot of HP and a lot of damage. Yeah, this basically accelerates the damage, and basically Furina becomes God. So yeah. And also her max HP gets increased by 140% as long as Let the People Rejoice lingers. And since Let the People Rejoice is an 18-second burst with a 15-second cooldown, if you have enough energy recharge, this lasts forever. You can get double HP Furina. Yeah, pretty nice. Her C3 and C5 are pretty basic. Burst skill. Her C4 basically just gives her more energy, meaning that she can get her burst faster. And then C6. This is what makes her a DPS. Yeah, this skill right here basically makes her a DPS. So when you use her elemental skill, you get this effect, Center of Attention, for 10 seconds. So when you get this effect, your Hydro Damage Infusion activates. Yes, Hydro Damage Infusion, you heard me right. This means that Furina's normal, charge, and plunging will deal Hydro damage. Yeah, now she becomes a main DPS. And also, her effects will also apply if you have certain RK reactions. So in Usia, she gains HP healing, and for Numa, she gains a 15% increase on her normal charge and plunging attacks. This is broken. This is way too broken. Yeah. If you want a main DPS Furina who can wreak havoc and also solo the Abyss, yes, this is the reason why she could solo the Abyss. This is good if you want to wail. This is a character that you should wail for if you really want to make a DPS Furina. If you don't want a DPS Furina, or if you're broke like me, C2 is fine. C2 basically gives her more fanfare stuff, which is pretty nice. It basically means that you could basically just get more fanfare, which increases a lot of her stuff. So it's basically her bread and butter, which is, yeah, that's basically it. If you want to get her to at least a reasonable constellation level, C2 is probably your best bet. That's probably what I'm going to be rolling for. So yeah, I hope my summons go well. And that I could get a lot of copies of Furina. So yeah. Next up, we have Charlotte, who is a Cryo sub DPS, as I said before. Her thing is attack percent, that is her level up stat. And you'll see later that she scales off of attack. So yeah. So this, I already said before, this is the Hida skill. Think of it as the Hida skill, where you tap, you tag. When you hold, you tag multiple. Yeah, there's nothing more to be said. And then her burst basically has an AoE cryo damage circle, and also increases the HP restored based off of Charlotte's attack. Yeah, so if you want to heal for a lot, increase Charlotte's attack. This is literally Chi-Chi's skill, where she needs max attack to heal more. It's the same for Charlotte. You need max attack to heal more on Charlotte. So yeah. And her passive talents. So when you equip the zoom lens, you basically take pictures. Yeah, I said this before. It looks pretty cool for those photo enthusiasts. Moment of impact. So when opponents marked by focus impression are defeated, framing freezing point composition's cooldown will decrease by 2 seconds, and it'll be triggered every 4 times every 12 seconds. So this basically gives her elemental skill a pretty good cooldown ratio. So yeah, by default it's 18 seconds, but that's the frame finishing cast. Yeah, never mind. This is when you hold down, this is when you hold down her elemental skill. You basically get that cooldown. But if you defeat an enemy with that sigil, basically if you have multiple groups of enemies with this active, you basically decrease the cooldown by 2 seconds. This means that you could get this way faster than you should. So yeah, pretty nice on a group of enemies. It means that you could get her elemental skill faster, meaning that you could just mark them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Diverse survey, or diversity survey. So this is a pretty unique passive, actually. So when she's on a team that contains Fontainians, so people from Fontaine, you gain healing bonus per Fontainian, which is pretty nice. And then for every non-Fontainian, she gains cryo damage bonus. She will most likely get this because she's probably going to be run on a non-Fontainian team, because there's not that many Fontainians in the game so far, since, well, it's version 4.2. There's not that much Fontainians. But, yeah, she will mostly get this passive right here, the cryo damage bonus, which is pretty nice. I mean, more damage. That's basically it for Charlotte. actually, she looks pretty good, honestly. For a 4-star support, she looks pretty good. I mean, she tags, she heals, she does cryo damage, cryo applicator. Yeah, good. And this is Furina's weapon, Splendor of Tranquil Waters. I did talk about this before, but 88% crit damage. Yeah. Now let's talk about it. So, when the equipping character's current HP increases or decreases, which is all the time, with her elemental skill, her elemental skill damage will be increased by 8% for 6 seconds, a max of 3 stacks. This is permanent. Yeah, this is a pretty nice ability. This means that all her little Hydro pets will deal a lot of damage. Yep. And that's not all. When other party members' current HP increases or decreases, the equipping character's max HP will increase by 12% for 6 seconds. Remember when I said that her elemental skill lasts for 30 seconds? And that party members will also take damage anyway when her elemental skill is up? This is permanent. This means that Furina's HP will skyrocket. So, if you run an HP crit with this, and also with her passive talents and with her constellations, she might reach 100k. Honestly, if you want to build an optimal Furina, she might reach 100,000 HP. Yeah. I think she's pretty good. And also, since everything is based off her max HP, yeah, this is literally it. HP crit. Yeah. I will keep praising it. HP crit. But yeah, this will basically trigger every 0.2 seconds with a max of 2 stacks. So yeah, common. It's pretty common. Last but not least, we have a free-to-play sword, Sword of Narcissan Cruz, which is basically a pretty unique sword that basically gives characters that don't have an RK, basically non-Fontanians, reactions. So Numa and Usia, which is pretty nice. So basically, when you do damage, you just deal Numa or Usia energy blast that deals 160% of attack as damage. This is kind of bad because this is a free-to-play weapon that doesn't give that much. It only gives characters RK reactions. That's basically it. That's the whole gimmick of the sword. Just like every single other Hoyoverse 4-star weapon, this is kind of bad. The only good weapon that we got by the 3 years that we got is actually the Dragon Spine 4-star sword, the Festering Desire. Yeah, that's the only good weapon that we got out of the whole 3 years of Genshin. Because that weapon's actually really good. Festering Desire, it's still used to this day. Like, actually. Yeah. That is basically it. I mean, this sword's pretty basic. Yeah. Alright, now let's just transition to the special program to finish this off. So yeah. So first off, we got the newest boss in this version, which is the whale. This is the thing that Child saw in his dreams. This means that, well, this is a new boss, meaning that new weekly rewards. It's a new weekly boss. Yeah, basically it. Next up is the newest area of Fontaine, right here. So you get the forest and the tower. Yeah. So the forest and the tower are the newest areas of this version. So this means that we could probably have 2 statues of the 7. Yeah, 2 statues of the 7. One for the forest area and one for the tower. Looks like the tower is going to be a pretty long grind, since it's just one big labyrinth. But yeah, it looks like it's a pretty good area as well. I mean, I always do it every single version, but I complete it in 3 days and then just do something else because I have a lot of stuff to do. Currently, right now, I'm still completing Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Yes, I mentioned it before in the beginning of the video, but yeah. Currently, I am finishing Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, so yeah, I'm still working on that. So I need to complete this as soon as possible so I can get back to finishing that game, because that game is peak. Next up is the new boss of this version, Hydro Tulpa, which is the newest boss for Furina's Ascension materials. So yeah, beat this boss, study it, because this is probably going to be in these 4.2 Spiral Abyss. So yeah, get ready, strap yourselves in, boys. We have to fight the Hydro Tulpa in the newest version of Spiral Abyss. Yep. And next up is actually the events of Genshin. So first up, we have Dixley's Fantastic Adventures, which basically is just your typical version event where there's a story and then you get rewards. So yeah. The newest character right here for the 4-star roster is Furina. Yes, this is the newest 4-star character besides Charlotte. Charlotte's not out yet, so I could just say Furina is the latest 4-star character. But you get him for free, which is pretty nice. So for people who missed him out on version 4.0, you can get him here, which is nice. Yeah, pretty cool. You also get a ton of rewards too, so don't sleep on this event. Again, primos are pretty good. Just like every other event here, there are multiple modes. For this mode, you just basically follow the penguin to the very end. So, yeah, if you want to know how it goes, yeah, that's it. And also, you have a limit here too. So yeah, this is basically all puzzle. This is a puzzle thing. So for here, you basically just collect stuff. Yeah, so it's always in every single version, but there's always 3 minigames that follow unless they have 4 minigames. But for here, it's 3 minigames. So yeah, we have the puzzle one, we have the exploration one, and then finally, like every single version, we have a domain one, of course, right here. Yeah, you basically defeat enemies as fast as possible to gain points. Yeah, pretty basic. Next up, we have, well, you already saw, since I transitioned to it way too early, Little Fungai's Fantastic Fiesta. Yep, it's back from Sumeru to Fontaine. So yeah, Pokemon. That's all I'm gonna say. If you already participated in this event, you know what I'm talking about. Next up, we have Graph Adversarial Technology Experiment Mod. So yeah, this is how we're gonna get our special zoom lens for Charlotte's passive talent. So yeah, in order to get Charlotte's passive talent, you need the zoom lens. So basically, do the event to get Charlotte's passive. Yeah, it's locked to an event. So yeah, do this event for those photographers out there to get your special lens, and also primos. Of course, let's not forget about the primos. But it's always like this in every single version. Yeah, as you can see here, of course, there's the gifts and other stuff as well. But you basically could take pictures of other things and basically get your rewards, which is pretty nice. It means that you have to take pictures of certain colors, like always. It's basically the same event that happened last time. I think it's Inazuma. Yeah, Inazuma. Where you have to take pictures of colored things, and you could send other colored pictures to other players, which is pretty nice. You could complete the catalog of stuff as well. So yeah. Well, I think this is the last event. No, there's 2 more, actually. So, there's, of course, the mandatory hard event in every single version. This is our hard event. Yeah, Misty Dungeon Realm of Water. They always do it in every single version. They always make a hard domain event. This is our hard domain event. Yeah, you know well that I am going to be making a video on this, so stay tuned. But I'm also going to be making a video on Furina and building her as fast as possible so I can make a showcase on her. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. We have a lot of videos in the works for this version because, well, this version's probably going to be the most hype. So yeah. Lastly, Leyline Overflow. So, at the end of 4.2, you can grind for materials in, well, preparation for the next character to be featured in version 4.3, which is probably going to be Navia. Keep that in mind. It's probably going to be Navia, and by the leaks, probably Raiden Shogun. Yeah, Raiden Shogun is probably going to be in the Phase 2 banner. I'm pretty sure that's what people said. But, yeah. Remember when I said that skip on Sino? yeah, skip on Sino because Raiden is probably gonna come out on version 4.3. So stay tuned. And also keep your eyes peeled because maybe the leaks are fake. So yeah. Also, of course, we have system optimizations. They always improve the game for every single version, which is pretty nice. It means that newer players can do this, while us older players will reminisce back to the good old days where there is a lot of suffering and a lot of, non-quality of life features. So yeah. First up is quick start on weekly bosses. This means that you can get boss rewards for free. Yeah, nice. It's pretty good. It means that while exploring around the area, you can basically get all the weekly boss rewards, which is pretty nice. This also means that newer players can also get the weekly boss rewards that they want without having to build artifacts or invest on teams so that they can take on the bosses, which is pretty nice. It's a nice quality of life update. It means that it'll be easier for newer players to beat the bosses. Pretty nice. Next up is G's Invocation TCG. So yeah, there are lots of optimizations on this, which is pretty nice. There are new cards, as you can see here. There is Nilou, Baiju, and Dory. That is going to be our new cards for this version. There's also going to be 5 new cards as well, which is pretty nice. I don't make videos on these anymore, by the way, just because my new content now focuses around Genshin instead of TCG. And besides, that my TCG videos don't get that much views anyway, so I just play it off my spare time. And I also really, really enjoy the TCG anyway. So yeah, I just play it off my spare time. My content is just mainly focused on Genshin gameplay now, like the actual main game. So yeah. Still though, I'm pretty excited about the TCG update. New quality of life updates like a faster speed on TCG, meaning that games don't go slow and take forever. There are also other stuff too, like deck copying. Yes, you can copy decks now. Pretty nice. So that means that sharing decks is pretty easy. Yeah, you can copy other decks. You can also give your friends your decks as well. Pretty nice. You could exchange decks. Pretty good. Pretty cool. I think that's it for TCG, right? Yeah, that's it. So now it's actually time to talk about the newest thing here, Stellar Reunion? I think so. If it transitions. Yeah, there it is! Oh boy. So this only appears for newer players. We don't get this because, well, we play every day. But newer players, yeah, this is a lot of rewards. Do them if you're a returning player, because you get a lot of stuff out of this, which is pretty nice. Means that it gives incentive to newer players to play the game. It also guides you as well on story quests as well, which is pretty nice. Means that newer players won't get lost, and returning players, well, they don't get lost on other quests as well, meaning that they just get rewards. Pretty nice. And last but not least, we have the new quest update. It's nice. It means that you could, instead of accepting the quest, you could ignore it. So yeah, you don't have to clutter up your quest screen with unnecessary quests. Yeah, that is pretty good. Because some characters will interfere with other quests that you have to do. So yeah, this is a pretty nice feature. It means that it doesn't automatically start unless you want it to start, which is pretty cool. And also it gets rid of those red notification dots, which is pretty nice. Yeah, as you can see there, it basically tells you to complete the following before you complete the other quests, which is pretty nice. And I think that's it. Yeah, that is it for the version update. Yeah, it took 40 minutes to get through this, but yeah, pretty nice. Well, anyways, it's time to go back to Genshin Impact. There we go. Well, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Yes, this is a pretty long grind. 4.2. I am very excited. And you should be too. So yeah. Well, the team that I have right now is the Archon team. Say goodbye to this team because, well, someone's gonna get replaced on this Archon team, which is pretty sad. But a new Archon on the roster, pretty nice. Well, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you like the video. It gives me a great amount of support. If you do like the video, it means that I can make more content in the future. Also, if you do love my content, be sure to subscribe. And if you do subscribe, turn on the notification bell to not miss out on a single upload. Again, any amount of support is greatly appreciated. So if you do subscribe, it'll make my day. Seriously, it doesn't make my day. Also, comment down below. What do you think of this new version update? You think it's good? You think it's bad? Are you excited for Furina as much as I am? Or you think that you should skip for Navia or something like that? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I will say it a third time, thank you guys for watching this special program discussion video. And I'll see you guys in the next Genshin video.